Been there, done that. Likutei Moharan Torah base. So he says that the main weapon of Mashiach, the main weapon of Mashiach Torah base, Likutei Moharan. The main weapon of Mashiach is tefillah, and the way that you get a potent tefillah, a sharp sword, is through Shmiras HaBris. Now, Albina says, once you have this sword that can do things, you have to know how to wield that sword. Not to go too much to the right, not go too much to the left. Not to go too much rachmanis, not to go too much achzarias. It should be everything exactly the right midah, which is a true rachamim. The only way that you can do this is if you acquire the midah of proper judgment. Not to go exactly to hit in the middle, not to sway to the right, not to sway to the left. It's like when you're dealing with a child, right? You shouldn't be too much candy, too much punishment. Has to be exactly the right thing. And this has to be, how do you get there? By weighing the thing in your mind. What's the right thing to do? The same thing is with tefillah. When you ask Kodesh Baruch Hu, because Mishamayim, whatever it is that you ask, they'll give you. But the thing is that especially when you're zechet at tefillah, you have a direct connection. You can do it. You do it. So you have to have, the main thing is to get to the tachlis, not to get things mishamayim. Not to mooch things from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. The main thing is, to be zechet avodas Hashem in this world, to give a Kodesh Baruch Hu nachas ruach. Our goal is to give a Kodesh Baruch Hu. The way we give a Kodesh Baruch Hu is by getting from Him. But we need to get from Him in order to give Him. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is a giver. He gives. But if you're just, you're being a child that says, give me, 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 give me. How much fun is it the father to give? But a child that wants to be a good kid, there's nothing that's more fun for his father than to give him, right? He's a good kid. He brings a great report card. He's a, Adam verkehrt, the more the better. You give to the other kids as well, but the kid, all he wants to do is just take, and not give you anything, not have a relationship with you. Just give me. You are there for me to mooch. You are my milk cow. All I know is just to milk from you. You give him because you're his parent, but it doesn't mean that you enjoy it. It's a give and take relationship. It's between them and Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's a give and take relationship. To be really close. Which child is the closest one to his father? Especially when they grow up. The one who is the closest to his father, with his drachim, when he walks. If his father's a mafia boss, so the closest son is the one who was made, right? He's also a mafia guy. Becomes a captain or whatever it is. It is half of dollars. Son of a tzaddik, who is the closest to his father? And the son is also a tzaddik. The more he walks in his father's ways, the closer he is, spiritually to his father. The same thing is over here. That when to be close to Kodesh Baruch Hu is when we resemble Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ma'orachum afatah rachum. Kodesh Baruch Hu is merciful. You should be merciful. Ma'orachonun, He gives, without regard. Afatah chonun, you should give even if they don't deserve it. Each one of the midas of a Kodesh Baruch Hu, you need to emulate that midah to resemble a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Then you are close to Kodesh Baruch Hu, because Ashvos Tzura, where we say the equalization of the spiritual mode is when people have the same das. Okay, let's say that somebody is a communist over here, and somebody is a communist in Kamchatka, Irkutsk, Bering Sea. Right? You're communist, you're communist, you're close to one another. From the tzura, from your das. Because your das is close. You're a capitalist over here, he's a capitalist in Washington, D.C. You're close to one another, in the tzura, in the mind. You're spiritually close to one another. You're sitting right next to your rightist and a leftist sits right next to you. You're very far from him. Physically, you may be close, but in the level of the tzura, the level of the form, of the spiritual form, you're as far as can be. You're the opposite from him. So closeness, meruchnius, is ashvos tzura. Is when the tzura is the same, that means spiritually you're close. When the tzura is opposite, you're far. Right? Yeah.
The way Rabbeinu wanted his Hasidim to daven together, because the Moharan is like the same das.
No, basically what it means is that Rabbeinu wanted us to daven together to be close to one another, but it's not, the idea of Shlosh Das is that everybody should want to come close to the tzaddik, should speak to one another, to be urged on, to have Ashvos Tzura, if they're closest to the tzaddik, when they give to one another, yeah, that's is near Ashvos Tzura. The same thing is to be close to Kodesh Baruch Hu is to resemble him. The closest you are to Kodesh Baruch Hu is if you're both givers. Kodesh Baruch Hu is a giver, that's his nature, right? Teva Tov Letiv, that he gives for nothing. No accounts held, no holds barred. Everything is bevakasha. So for you to be close to Kodesh Baruch Hu, you need to be the same thing. In your relation with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, if all you do is take, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu gives, means you're the furthest possible from him. For you to be close to Kodesh Baruch Hu, means that you give him. But what can you give him? What can you possibly give him? What you can give him is the only thing he doesn't have. And that's a recipient. You give him a recipient for whom to give. Right? This Baruch doesn't lack anything. Doesn't receive anything from anyone. He needs somebody to give to. Right? You're giving him that opportunity to give. When you're doing it because all you care about is yourself, you're close to Kodesh Baruch Hu because you come to him, you ask him, whatever it is, you're close to him, but really you're still far. Because really what you want to do is what you want to get.
So when you're doing it in the intention of pleasing him,
yes, then you turn the getting into giving. Then you're both givers. You're as close as possible.
that's the
That's right.
You make him into
a makabel. That's right. That's right. Exactly right. So he says, so that's why with your own tefillah, you should hit exactly the middle, for the final purpose of getting in order to give. This is Shleimus Ha'olam. This is the thing that completes you as a human being.